السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري ويشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Everybody welcome. And are you ready to introduce and give
Yes,
us?
I'm ready. Inshallah.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So last week we were reminded that the barrenness of the shore in Jonah and the empty Kaaba shows that there is no salvation in the universe, and I am saved by acknowledging God. This is a kind of recap from Job. Very short. This is so by understanding what the barrenness represents, we learn or we realize the truth of our own reality, that nothing in the universe can satisfy me. This universe, in fact, is nothing but a barren shore. And likewise, anything that benefits us in this creation is our gourd trees. So just a beautiful reminder of the symbolism of barrenness and gourd tree, what they represent. And then we got into Job a little bit, and we were reminded that in comparison to the Torah, that in the Torah, the approach is, we learned is the approach in Torah towards Job is a long argument. But the problem wasn't solved. What is the purpose of pain? So here we have in the Quran a beautiful correction to teach us what was the purpose of the pain that Job had endured. So in the text, we had just the first part, just before the first point, and the 5 points we're going to discuss today. So we got only as far as the section before the first point. And in that section, there were two words that we focused on that, for those of us here in the live meeting, it's recompense and disinterested. And I think it's important to understand how these words are being used, because they're easily to be not understood in the sense that the Quran means. So for example, when in the Nursi text, he writes, while afflicted with numerous wounds and sores for a long time, Job recalled the great recompense to be had for his sickness. And so we talk quite a bit about what that word actually means. in the context. So it does mean to give back, but it does not mean reward in the hereafter. So when something happens to us like pain, we need to wait and be patient and ask ourselves, what benefit can be had for this? And if we can do that, then there's tremendous recompense for belief in the Creator in this world on our end, right here and now. So thinking that, oh, I have to be patient for reward in the hereafter is a totally wrong attitude, and it's not my reality. So the question is, so patient, patience about what? And we talked about how in the next paragraph, it's really understanding wisdom in the creation of the pain. Um, Pain is an opportunity to see who we are, who created the medicine, and how needy we are, and how those needs can only be provided by the Creator. Which we talked about how this is in many ways like food. I eat to get satisfied, but it should not be for my self-interest. And that's where the meaning of the term disinterested comes in. Um, it's it it's it's the opposite of self-interest. Um, I am being trained through even just eating food. Who is my Lord? I'm being trained who I am and why I'm here. Um, so the disinterested approach that Job took in his um, supplication to God, um, in which he said, "My remembrance of you with my tongue and my worship of you with my heart will suffer." Because Job had presented this with pure, sincere disinterest, meaning lack of self-interest, God rewarded him or responded to him by taking away his pain. So we in turn should not be um, necessarily supplicating our Creator to take away the afflictions, but to learn or to try and see the wisdom in the creation of them. Because, like we talked about with Jonah, um, God would not deliberately set out to harm him. So that's my summary for last week.
So
I hope it covers most of the points. Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank you. Great summary. Great summary and conclusion. Uh, I took this part in green here, and last week the time was up, and we haven't really concentrated on this because, as Anne beautifully summarized what disinterested mean. But let's talk a little bit more about recompense. Now, let's make sense of recompense. When I am in pain, if I am patient with it, I will be recompensed. Why? Because I didn't complain. And where is the recompense? I'm still in pain. I'm patient, but when I'm patient, the pain doesn't disappear. Any answer? What is the recompense? Okay, last week somehow we talked about it, but just to remember briefly, when I am impatient, it doesn't mean that we talked about it a lot, but people are very much concerned about what do you mean? If I am in pain, shouldn't I go to the doctor or search for the solution to get rid of this pain? Yes, you should. You must. That's why we are created. And our creator is really forcing us, if you like, by giving the pain, go and look for a solution, healing for it. But what is the recompense? Now, let's take two attitudes. One of them is really complaining. Why I am, why I am, why am I, why am I? That's a very famous question. Everybody is healthy, and I'm just lying on in bed in hospital. I am in pain. Why am I in this position? And also complaining about the existence of pain. What is going on in me? If there is God merciful, why is He giving me pain? Now, this kind of we will study more about it. And also, we might have talked about it earlier on. When we understand that this pain is given to us, we should realize that the Creator is not really torturing us with it, but educating us in such a way that I have to physically experience that I am needy. I cannot control my body, although I call it my body, still I cannot control it. And I have to look for solution. And why am I in this position? That I am practicing that I am needy. That is uh, actually the purpose of the creation of this event. I have to acknowledge my reality, physically practice it as well. Physically practice it as well, so that I will be 100% sure there is someone else is operating on me, and this is a conscious creation, because my health is demonstrating that in order to exist, it must be deliberately arranged, created, and my illness also must be deliberately arranged, were created. It means I am being educated, trained here through goodness, sometimes also difficulties. When I realize this, I have to ask the question, who is operating on me? I understand that everything is created within the context of the whole universe. Therefore, everything must be created by the one who created the whole universe. That is when you realize that your owner, your creator, is really teaching you something, teaching you your reality. When think about who is really treating me in this way, in a good way, 95% of your life, in also negative way that you don't like, 5% of your life. Generally speaking, some people exceptional. Every time, the universe is not standard. Exceptionals are always created as far as human beings are concerned. So no one is equal. We understand this. And through understanding that the creator of the universe is my owner, he is introducing himself to me through various means, creating majority of the creation is helpful, healthy, and enjoyable, very rare. Some days, well, for example, severe winter there, the storms or something, how many days? Out of 360 something days. So we have to understand that we are trained, educated here in order to understand who we are. That realization gives an perfect satisfaction for for the expectations of your feelings, your human side, not the body side, your human side. Ah, my creator is the one, my owner is the one who owns this universe. He is just really reminding me from time to time, I am needy. He is the one who is providing everything. For example, by giving me some pain, I understand that all health had been provided until now by him. For example, I have some problem with some member of my body, but how about the rest? They are working perfectly. So who's arranging it? So you understand that belief in the absolute owner of your being, absolute owner of the universe, is in this world the recompense. If you acknowledge it, rather than reacting that why, who is treating me in a bad way now that I am in pain, then you don't, when you don't acknowledge it, you lose the recompense. That is, I think, clear now. In my mind, it is clear. If it is clear for you, now that is why the two or one sentence, I think it's a long sentence, uh, makes sense now. Let me read it. But later, when the worms generated by his wounds penetrated to his heart and his tongue, what does it mean? Of course, it is something, maybe physically, Prophet Job lived in this condition. That is not our concern. But we know that heart and tongue, the seat of the remembrance and knowledge of God, the heart and heart, he feared that his duty of worship would suffer. It means if I am so much in pain, if I cannot really endure it anymore, and if I start complaining, that I say, please God, take it from me. Because I started not realizing that you are a merciful creator. My ego-centered concern says, you know, I shouldn't be in this position. And I am not happy with the one who is really putting me in this position. Please, I don't want it. Then it means you are taking a negative attitude towards your creator. Then you can ask, please harm touched me, please take it away, because harm, not only bodily harm, it started turning into spiritual harm. When the spiritual harm is the subject, then we have to say, please, please, God, take this physical pain from me. Then tongue. Tongue represents what? To offer uh, through our tongue, to say thank you. I know as the uh, as the verse says, "Oh Lord, harm has afflicted me." What is harm? What is harm now? Not only physical harm, because when the heart feelings couldn't really comfortably accept that or uh, confess that my creator is merciful. Come on, it's unbearable. Which kind of mercy is it? Complaining. Now, that is harm. Now, where harm has afflicted me, my remembrance of you with my tongue and my worship of you with my heart will suffer. So that I am asking now for cure. Of course, I don't have to wait to ask for cure. Uh, to ask for cure, I don't have to wait. That it should be really, really, really unbearable. But when I am in pain, I don't like it. That is my sense. Let's use it in our practical terms that when I am in pain, I should ask God, please, God, it may really have an effect, a negative effect on me, and I may really not be as thankful as I should be. Then please take this illness from me so that I will be always in good terms with you. From my heart, I feel in this way. And also I have to say thank you, for example, when you have a beautiful dinner or when you really receive something that you really enjoy from the creation of God. You are very happy and you comforted to say, Alhamdulillah, thank you, God, thank you. I am really pleased with you. So we can ask this. We can ask always for healing from our Creator, acknowledging that, yeah, I know you are the healer. I am the one who is in need of it. I don't have my health taking for granted that it happened to be in this way. That is your gift for me, and please return it back to me. That's what we have to say, and we should not turn anything negative that we don't like against the Creator, saying that, why do you punish me in this way? That is what I understood, and I wanted to share it with you. So Fatu says, can we use this to get to know our Creator as the patient one? Yes, we can, because anything, any quality created in me is a unit of measurement to understand this is the quality manifested in me. I don't know what patience is, but I'm practicing it. So it is given to me in order to understand that my Creator is a patient, is also patient. That is one aspect of it. But for the moment, we are concentrating on our side. But it's a good point. Thank you very much. We can use it that anything we can, the eye, when you see something, it is a means that you can use. My Creator must be the one who absolutely sees everything and creates everything, because my eye witnesses this. He has given me my eye and my power of sight. Not only eye is a tool, my power of sight. So I think that's a good question. And we can now continue from the first point today. And ready?
Yes, ready.
Can I add something before we move to the first point?
Of course.
I was just reflecting when you said spiritual harm. If we can go up a little, where it says the seat of remembrance, I think because this is the second time I go through this reading with you. And I feel like the first time you mentioned spiritual harm, I didn't understand it. And then this time, I realized actually when physical pain shows up, it comes with a mental baggage. Like mentally, I go into a place where it starts to become heavy to remember God. I'm either imagining how this illness is going to get worse, or I'm imagining how this, if I didn't have this illness, I would have had the capacity to do much more. So mentally, I become very clouded and I don't have any space to think or remember. So now when you said spiritual harm, I can see that it starts with me personally. It starts with mentally being anxious, I guess, creating scenarios, imagining. So I feel like as soon as I was able to notice that, I can stop myself and be like, okay, why am I imagining things right now? Just stick to the reality. Yes, it's painful, but I still have the responsibility of remembering. So why don't I turn my attention to that? Yeah.
By concentrating on the event right now rather than really going backward. I have been suffering from it for weeks, and I don't know how long it will last, and I will be in pain. No. For the moment, I am in pain. Yes, correct. I have to do physically what I am expected to do. That is what we all do. But also our mental attitude towards it. How should I analyze this creation right now without losing my patience by saying that, oh, there is no end, seems to be, there is no solution, seems to be, for example. Correct. So, thank you. Thank you for clarification. But, mashallah, very good. Shall we
Yes,
continue?
let's continue. First point, corresponding to the outer wounds and illnesses of Job, upon whom be peace, we have inner illnesses of the spirit and the heart. If our inner being were to be turned outward and our outer being turned inward, we would appear more wounded and diseased than Job. For each sin that we commit and each doubt that enters our mind inflicts wounds on our heart and our spirit. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes, I mean, excuse me. Um, is it clear here, or would you like just to put
Well,
it in another word, simple language? Yeah.
I really loved this first paragraph,
Mm.
the first point about our inner being, if it was turned outward and our outer being turned inward, we would appear more wounded and diseased than Job. Really points to the lack of attention that we give to our inner being and the over attention that we give to our outer being. So if we were to reverse those, I just think it's a very interesting way to put it that we would actually appear more wounded and diseased than Job. It's a I don't know, it just strikes me as something makes really obvious where our priorities should be.
Yes, where our priority should be, yes, because we are so much immersed in bodily interests. Just
Well, I mean, I'd say we're almost obsessed with it. maybe I read too much Western media. I don't use social media, but I do read, other mainstream media. And the amount of attention given to the outer being is never stops striking me as being just extraordinary, like just completely reinforcing the belief about outer appearance and no emphasis at all on the inner being. I think it's especially prevalent in our modern society, which is promulgated through the media and social media. Point where maybe you stop seeing that that's not the reality. You start seeing that maybe you get a distorted view of reality.
Yeah. Of course, the reality is defined in terms of matter, isn't it?
Yes,
Body.
exactly.
Yeah. Your stomach is empty. It means you want to satisfy it. You think that you are created for this only. But through satisfying your stomach, you are expected to have an infinite pleasure in your spiritual world. My creator is so kind. Look at this, how he created everything. So, and he makes me feel hungry. It's beautiful, don't you think? If we never felt hungry, can you imagine? How can we take the pleasure of food? For example, just a simple example, daily routine. So hunger is the means to enjoy the satisfaction, food. And through this means of enjoyment, we know who our Creator is and how merciful and kind He is. So beautifully arranged, everything. But if it comes to illness, we don't use the same reason. Now, when you are hungry, you are happy if you have food to feed yourself. You are happy that you will enjoy the food. Yeah, when you are ill, that is why we need to focus on our spiritual side, inside. But as you said, inside, the spiritual satisfaction is completely neglected in this world now. So we have to, spiritual side means really just getting along with people better and having a good interpretation of the world life. They are trying to really uh, teach us how can you have an attitude so that you will enjoy this life, not you will really satisfy the needs of your feelings, which expects the infinite satisfaction. No, there is no, I don't think only the religious people try to do that, and general culture does concentrate on the temporary worldly life and mostly to enjoy your bodily life. So that if you are, for example, kind to people, you feel happy. Yeah, but I am happy, but I am happy to die happily. What is the point? At the end, I'm going to die. All right. Age pays.
Assalamu alaikum. Just I wanted to share a thought. I think similar to how the sort of mainstream ideology of having this body worshipping sort of a relationship with one's the material aspect, the body itself, right? Like the moment I'm hungry, just seeking food because I need to eat something or whatever that next thing is, constantly seeking immediate satisfaction, I think also translates to and draws a parallel between states of illness, like we're being presented in this first point, where that physical material body undergoes something that is unpreferable. And because in the sort of mainstream ideology, it is kind of my point of worship, any sort of incident that I view as harmful then also becomes an enemy to me, then becomes a sort of a situation in which I should try to avoid at all costs, because there's it becomes enemy like, in the sense that there's no good in it for me and it only wants harm for me from a very physical perspective, right? And so I think also what we're seeing here, and what one question that I was also thinking about as we were reading is, like, is it necessary, like and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's thought of this, but is physical pain, for example, necessary for me to be able to experience certain qualities of my creator, like, for example, healing or hunger and sustainership? But in my practical life too, as you were giving with the example of hunger, like enjoying the food when I'm hungry, or enjoying water when I'm thirsty, and also in my practical life, undergoing a little bit of stress allows for growth. When I go to school, I study, I undergo a little bit of stress, that also allows for improvement. And so there's a reality of the way in which I exist that also looks to a sort of um, growth, that is that little bit of stress or contrast is necessary for that sort of growth mindset. So I think, to summarize my thoughts, one being that the whatever sort of relationship I have with my body will immediately, that perspective will translate to any sort of state of being that I view as harmful to my body. Whether it's being sick, whether maybe I'm really cold, because in any of these circumstances, then I don't see anything other than my body is being harmed. There is no if you will, education in that experience for me beyond the physical aspect, because that's all I'm focused on. And so it immediately translates onto that. And once I recognize the createdness of everything as coming from my creator, then I can have that mental paradigm shift of, hold up, maybe I'm really cold right now, but even the sense of coolness and chilliness is there for it is being meaningfully created for me, other than just to physically harm me. There's something else within the existence of that experience that is teaching me something beyond the physical aspect.
Let's pray to Allah, God, that we will take notice of our inner world much more than our bodily life. Of course, bodily life should be taken care of, but proportionately. Inner world needs eternity, bodily world needs to be healthy until I die. That's the difference. So we have to think about it. Thank you. So I think the following paragraph explains further what does it mean to turn inside, turn outward, inside, outward, and see our reality. Our body is healthy, but our spirit is maybe suffering. So we have to question it. Shall we move on to the following
I
paragraph?
think there's a question in the chat, but it might be answered
Ah,
if we move on. I would move on, and then maybe, I don't know, it's up to you.
no, no, I haven't seen it. Thank you for reminding me. What's an example of inner illness? Inner illness, thinking that you are created only for this body to entertain until it's die. It is death, but you cannot stop your feelings from functioning. So your feelings will be left unanswered, and their expectations are left unsatisfied. And you are just physically entertaining yourself, but your spirit suffers there. I think we should understand that inner disease means not knowing the purpose of your existence, what is expected of you in this world, who brought you in this world. All these unanswered questions makes your life meaningless. Isn't that obvious? Makes your life meaningless, and you will be always frightened of any time I may die and lose everything. Although I am piling up something, but still they are going to be taken away from me one day, definitely. Which kind of pleasure I will take from this life? So the expectations of the answer for my intellect, my consciousness, and the way, how can I find the way to satisfy my feelings, which require eternal happiness? Where is it? How can I stop them from bothering me? They are there. They are always telling me, yes, you will die one day. To run away from this reality is not the solution. Not accepting that you have an owner and just describing yourself as an accidentally happened to be in this world being, and for no reason. I happen to be as a human being for no reason, as a result of random developments, and I am going to be experiencing death as a result of random happenings. That is how I am encoded by chance, and my feelings cannot be answered. I think we may take this point very seriously, because we think that we believe in God and that's it. But which kind of pleasure belief in God really provides for me? And compare it. If you didn't believe in the Creator, if you didn't believe that there is an eternal life after death, which kind of spiritual experience you will have? Compare it, and you will see. But we may not do that. We just say, that's it, and I'm done. I believe in Allah, God, that's it, and He promises me eternal life. I am done. That is not simple. That's simple. I have to make 100% sure. Every question, everything bothers me about my questions, existential questions. So which kind of God He is? Not copy pasting it. No, I must be fully satisfied in the creation of every single being, whether I like it or not. Now, when I like it, I don't question. When I don't like it, let us see how we respond back to this creation that we don't like. It is not simple to get the pleasure of belief in an absolute being needs an endless experience and reflection in the creation of everything. I mean, speaking in general terms gives a relaxation, yes, but not really full satisfaction that we can have in this world. So some people find a cheap way of getting rid of this understanding, saying that, oh, we have to suffer here, that is normal. But in the hereafter, no, that is just really not the solution. You have to, whatever you experience here, it will continue in the hereafter. If you say that your creator is creating something to you that you suffer from it, that is your understanding of the creator. And this creator cannot be an absolutely merciful one. Why? He's giving me torture here. That is why how we should really utilize what is created, and we don't like it. And we don't like it. The sense of disliking, this painful creation is also given to me for a purpose. So I shouldn't dislike it, and so that I will look for the solution. While I am looking for the solution, I will be given the opportunity to acknowledge who is the provider. As our friend explained, if I'm not hungry, and if I don't really find a food, I will really appreciate the one who created the food and provided it for me so far. That is what's simple. For example, when I was a baby, if my mother wasn't really employed by the Creator with her immeasurable compassion, mercy, that she took care of me, how could I survive in this world? Who is employing my mother? Who gave the sense of compassion? Although she doesn't have to, but she cannot but take care of me as a baby. No, that is what we have to look for, inshallah. Who is doing all this, inshallah? Sorry, please. Let's, if there is no other comment, we can read.
Bismillah. The wounds of Job, upon whom be peace.
Excuse me, Patu wanted to say something.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. So the way you've been describing physical pain is that we've put a lot of attention on like recognizing our need of hunger or our needs of comfort, etc. So the way I've been seeing is like first we need to pay attention to our like inner needs, like for connection, love, etc. And then finding that solution through our creator. But sometimes we ignore those feelings, I guess, or like those feelings that point us to our needs. At least that's how I've been understanding what you've been saying. So when you're saying focus inwards, it's like paying attention to what's happening with your feeling, or like how you're navigating your feelings, your emotions, and your inner world.
Excellent. I mean, any kind of feeling, we don't really pay attention. I personally don't really pay attention. No, not I. If someone feels lonely, if someone feels straight out, if someone feels unhappy, if someone feels angry, if someone feels so overjoyed without realizing what is happening, really, why is it so, who is doing that? All these kind of experiences are like our illnesses. How am I going to answer them? Which kind of solution, healing, I should look for them? So, but when I'm hungry or when I have some sort of pain, and any painful creation, I say, that is bad for me. When I feel somehow not satisfied about the creation of anything, somebody insults me, I get angry. Isn't that an illness as well? Why shouldn't I look for the solution for it? Where shall I find it? Exactly, believing in the Creator. Only the way and understanding that, my owner is the one who is the absolute one, this absolute being, infinite qualities. So he is the one who is introducing himself to me. Now that's what we have to always go through, these negative feelings that we experience in any time, at any time. Okay, I think we should read this paragraph.
Bismillah. The wounds of Job, upon whom be peace, were of such a nature as to threaten his brief worldly life, but our inner wounds threaten our infinitely long, everlasting life. We need the supplication of Job thousands of times more than he did himself. Just as the worms that arose from his wounds penetrated to his heart and tongue, so too the wounds that sin inflicts upon us and the temptations and doubts that arise from these wounds will, may God protect us, penetrate our inner heart, the seat of belief, and thus wound belief. Penetrating too the spiritual joy of the tongue, the interpreter of belief, they cause it to shun in revulsion the remembrance of God and reduce it to silence.
That's summary of it. Who would like to join?
I like the part you have underlined at the beginning where our inner wounds threaten our infinitely long, everlasting life.
Mhm.
And I think Nursey talks about the nature of those inner wounds in the text, but I really like that. The um, taking the outer wounds and turning it inward, that there's inner wounds as well that threaten our infinitely long, everlasting life. And what are those inner wounds, and what can we do about it? That's also, I think, a source of pain, not just the physical body.
For example, excellent, thank you. So, for example, when something happens, let's say there is a war somewhere and innocent people are killed, especially people talk about children, women. It means really innocent people, not necessarily children and women. If an innocent man is harmed, doesn't it matter? So I am a bit jealous about it. Men, women, children, but children and women are the symbol of innocence. So when they are badly treated and damaged and harmed their life, and the believers also start questioning why God allows this. Now here comes this without realizing wounds, wounds, spiritual wounds, doubt. Where is it? Yeah, temptations and doubts, questions arise from those wounds. We start thinking, God must be merciful, must protect the innocent people. Why? I've heard many complaints about it. not that I am safe about this point, but believers, strong believers, react God's creation rather than people's choice. God's creation. Now people are free to choose. They can kill millions of people, which they do in many ways, not only physically killing, but for example, nowadays the minds of the young people are completely corrupted by social media. They are everywhere. Lots of things are really just making people, living people, especially young people who are thinking what's going on in this world, they are left in suspension. What is the truth? They keep asking the question. Does religion really provide a satisfactory answer? Look, the people are saying just opposites. The minds are completely wounded. So they are left completely helpless. They don't know what is going on, what is the truth. Everything is mixed up now. So it is very difficult to make the distinction between right and wrong for the young people now. So their spiritual life, spiritual world is left wounded with no cure. Unfortunately, for example, so we have to really take care of this satisfaction of the inner heart. So we have to look for the answer to every question to have a satisfied heart, inshallah. So that is also, it's interesting, the description of tongue. No, even people start saying, why? But God must be a merciful one. Why these atrocities happen in the world? So their tongue is not enjoying uttering, saying, speaking in the positive way about the Creator because heart is not satisfied. And tongue cannot say, oh, my merciful Creator. Why? I am not happy with something happening there because of people's wrong choice, or also sometimes because something created by God deliberately to teach me, to educate me, earthquake-like, or I don't know, hurricane-like creations, I start questioning. That is the doubt. When you question, can you really express your pleasure, your happiness with your Creator? So we have to take care of this side and concentrate on how I can make sure that my heart, therefore my tongue, should not be away from remembering about God as the best teacher, as the best educator. That is how I need to be treated, that is how I need to be taught. So when we really have, we are going to read, inshallah, next week, when we really have this kind of uncertainties, doubts, a little bit, but some people say so, some people say so. It is there, but no, I believe in God. Oh, no. We have to really make sure. Now, although they say this, I don't have a satisfactory answer for it, but really I believe in God is not the way that we have to keep our faith. We have to look for the solution. We have to search for the healing of any kind of doubt that our heart experiences, our mind experiences. Now, we cannot run away while saying, that, no, 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 I shouldn't have any doubt in my belief. That is not the solution. Sometimes we hear that you should have no doubt about your belief. That's correct. But if there is a doubt, in my mind, there is a doubt. I shouldn't have a doubt. It means, no, 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 deny it. No, it is there. I have to look for the answer so that I shouldn't have doubt. Search for it. That is why we have to work on belief side of the Quranic teaching or revelation. Belief, how the belief is presented in the Quran. What kind of evidence the Quran really presents to me? I have to ask this question and work on it. Otherwise, no, no, you shouldn't have any doubt in your belief, which I hear a lot. That is just, how do you say, cheap way of treating yourself. Your reality is there. You have a doubt in your heart, you have a doubt in your heart. Unless it is answered, you cannot get rid of this doubt. It is there. But try to ignore it is not the solution. Like try to ignore the cancer cell in your body. No, 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 I am not ill. I don't have cancer. It is not the solution. You have it. You have to look for solution, for the answer for it, to satisfy it. That is why we concentrate on this side of teachings of the Quran in our classes. Evidence to convince about our questions, about our doubts. Inshallah, we should be open to it. So what happens if if our heart, no, penetrating to our heart, what happens? Each sin doesn't mean only the sin. We will talk about it next week. Which kind of sin? The worst unforgivable sin is assigning the Creator's qualities to anything of this universe. That is called shirk. The worst sin is the shirk. Starting from there, how are we going to get rid of seeing the things that are effective in creation? As everybody says, God created the universe, but it is evolving by itself. This is the worst sin of the 20th century, 21st century. It is becoming more and more widely spread sin among the believers. And what is God doing? There is no answer. Now, God set everything, created everything is working by itself. How can I communicate with God? He left the job. For example, we have to be really careful about this kind of uh, interpretations about belief matters. Inshallah, next week we will continue. If there is no comment and question, we can stop. Time is up. Any more? Inshallah, we will stop. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا إن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة